Yeah, welcome everybody. We have, quite a big group today. Go ahead and scan that QR code. It'll also be in the chat for you to sign in and get credit today. And we'll go ahead and get started. All right, well, my name is Krista Davis, and I am a Pamplin Career Advisor here at Pamplin Career Services. We're a small team, but we do a lot. So in addition to meeting with you and student appointments, we also do these fun workshops where we talk about good tips and strategies and try to share that out to the broader population. So today, this career chat is from Panic to a Plan, Spring Internship Strategies and Backup Plans. And so just like that name suggests, we'll be going over strategies to finding a summer internship. I know it's a little late, in the semester for spring to be finding internships, but there are some opportunities that are still out there for this summer, 2026. But of course, any tips or strategies we'll be talking about is also relevant to finding internships for this fall or next spring or even next summer for future internships. But go ahead and sign in if you can, and we'll get started. Okay. So while you're signing in, I want to do a quick poll. So either in the chat, do 1, 2, or 3. Number 1, you haven't submitted any applications for summer internships yet, but you're still interested in future internships. Number 2 being you have submitted applications, but you don't have an offer just yet. Number 3, you do have a summer internship for this summer, but you're wanting more tips and strategies for the future. So we'll give you some time to answer that. Several threes, that's amazing. Several ones, twos. That's awesome. So that gives me context of where you're coming from. And you can also see where your peers are in the process too. I will say if you do already have a summer 2026 internship and you haven't let Career Services know, that's something we would love to hear for our own data and to congratulate you. So feel free to, send us an email, connect on LinkedIn, and shout out what opportunity you got, what the company was, what the internship is, because we would really love to keep track of that. All right. So without further ado, one of the main things I want to get right off the bat is the timeline. So ideally, when you're searching for internships over the summer, you really want to submit most of your applications in the fall before. So a lot of the applications open for summer 2026 internships, fall 2025 between July and October. There is a little flexibility there. For example, if you're in marketing, there was quite a lot of marketing internships posted recently. Your application timeline would be a little bit more flexible than what you see here. But if you ever have any questions on what the timeline is for you and your chosen industry, just, give us an email or a chat, and we can happily talk through what that looks like for you. So there is also a small number of opportunities posted, after, July and October, but fewer, of course. So you want to target fall, but there is still opportunities available in the summer. One thing that I will point out here is that these internships are still competitive. So if you've just submitted, 1, 2, 3 applications, that's pretty risky. You want to be submitting ideally, 50 to 100 or more. And I know that's a big number, but if you have a good quality resume, you're just submitting a whole lot more applications. There's just, a lot more of them, right? They're very good quality as long as you have a good resume. So send out a lot of applications if you can to increase your chances of hearing back. And there's a lot of different types of internships. So in this workshop, we're going to be focusing on regular internships, paid internships, and unpaid internship. Those are semester-long opportunities. They're more project-based, but there's also co-ops. We won't be focusing on co-ops today, but just to mention them, co-ops are longer-term experiences and typically full-time working experiences along with your degree. There are also other opportunities that I'm going to mention here. There is leadership opportunities and getting involved in clubs and campus organizations. And in fact, leadership opportunities and leadership experience on your resume is something recruiters often look for is, are you attending meetings? Are you continuing to progress in those clubs and getting into leadership positions? You can look into finding projects to complete either in class or out of class. You can find externships, which is just really many internship opportunities that are just a day long, maybe a few days long. So there's lots of different types of things out there, and I'm going to talk about several of them in this workshop here. I also want to encourage you not to count out any unpaid internships If you do stumble across an unpaid internship and it fits the guidelines of this UTPROSM Internship Support Fund, you could receive financial assistance for up to $5,000. Now, that does have to do with internships that directly contribute to the public good in some sort of capacity, regardless of the industry. But if you have questions about that, you can, go ahead and research and Google Career and Professional Development UTPROSM Internship Support Fund. The application deadline for this funding is April 24th, 2026. So a really quick turnaround there. So thinking now about where we are, mid-April, end of March, and we are beginning of the April. Where do opportunities still exist? I'm going to be focusing on recommending you to target small to mid-sized companies, maybe local regional businesses. There's some startups and growing firms that have a lot of opportunities there as well. And if you're doing really good networking and you're making positive connections with maybe alumni or recruiters at career fairs, sometimes you could be one of the first people to find out about a position before it's posted. So you also want to be networking really well at the same time. Okay, so I'm going to show you just a couple charts here really quickly. You can go ahead and screenshot them, take a picture of them. This is directly pulled from our internship knowledge data. So that QR code there, if you scan it, it'll take you to a lot of data we've gotten on where Pamplin students have interned in the past. And this is a good list of companies from national global employers to government, military, nonprofit, to even local employers that have hired interns in the past. It is not by any means an exhaustive list, but it can be a really good place to start. But if you want a more, current list on who's actively hiring right now, who has applications open for summer internships 2026, this is it. This is not an exhaustive list by any means, but it is divided by, hey, cyber and IT, marketing, business management, real estate. There's even some finance and accounting internships out there for summer 2026 as well. But ideally for finance and accounting, you do want to start earlier in the fall to maximize your opportunities. So of these that are available, you do have a shorter timeline, right? There's quite a lot out there just from what this table shows you, but many of these applications are closing this week or next week or the week after. So my recommendation for you is to, save this list, go on Handshake, do your own searching. And first of all, search by, application deadline and prioritize those with deadlines that are ending sooner rather than later. We don't want you to miss any application deadlines that are quickly approaching. Okay, so there's a couple things you can do to find internships. A lot of what I'm going to be talking about just right now is using data. So number one, you know what your major is, or maybe you're exploring majors. I would really identify what are your interests. And you can use our data on internships to help you find out that, but you can also use our data on full-time positions. So we do have Pamplin graduates that, graduate from the Pamplin College of Business, and they come back and tell us in the form of this first destination survey, this is what job I got after graduation. So this is a list of entry-level positions that you can get with your degree. And you can use that in a bunch of different ways. You can figure out, hey, do any of these entry-level jobs interest me at all? Or do I want to pivot, talk with career services to see any alternative career paths? Or maybe you want to target it in a different approach. Maybe you're in investment banking and finance, and your goal is maybe to intern at a company that has historically hired and given return offers to finance students to then go into an investment banking role, right? So in that capacity, you can look at the first destination survey, see what students in finance have gotten an investment management, job right after graduation, and see if they have any internship opportunities there in that case, right? So there's a lot you can do with this data. One other thing you can do with this data is search backwards as far as location. So I'm sure there's a lot of you sitting here that's more location bound, and you can only really stay in certain locations for your internship. If that's the case, you can use this internship knowledge data and just look at the locations here. If you're only concerned and you can only stay in Nova, look at the past internship opportunities available in the Nova area. See if you can't look up those companies, check out their company websites, and go from there. That's also a really great way to go about that. Okay, So you want to make sure you're also using the right tools, and I'm going to go over what tools to use and how to use them. Number one, absolutely use company websites. That's a really great resource for you to find a lot of these opportunities. But I'd also recommend, of course, using Handshake. If your Handshake account isn't updated, I would recommend updating that and utilizing the job search function. You can not just find internships and part-time jobs, but you can connect with companies and recruiters on there at the same time. Handshake is your on-campus university platform. So if you're looking at internships at Virginia Tech, for example, looking back at that chart, Virginia Tech was a really big employer for internships. Handshake is your way to do that, not just for internships in various semesters, but also for on-campus part-time jobs. LinkedIn is really great for doing all of the above, but you can make even more personal connections with Hokies and alumni, and certainly with recruiters as well. If you want more of a broad range of internships available to you, something we also recommend is Career Shift. I don't know how many of you have heard of Career Shift. If you haven't, this is a really good opportunity for you to hear more about it. Essentially, Career Shift is a database. So if you go on Career Shift and create a free account, it'll search a bunch of different job platforms at the same time. And it'll come up with a wide variety of internships that matches your filters, matches your keywords that you can apply to. I'm going to go over all three of those. So number one, Handshake, I want you to use a couple things. The main thing you'll be using in Handshake is this job search tab. And you'll be using a couple things here. Number one, on the right-hand side, you're going to see I selected the internship filter there. And when I select that internship filter, it'll pop up a whole lot of internships available to you at Virginia Tech and outside of Virginia Tech. You'll also see on the right something called Virginia Tech Collections. I recommend playing with that too. You can find Virginia Tech internships called Campus EXP internships, and those are some really great internship opportunities. Don't discount that Virginia Tech Collections. I have recently seen a Virginia Tech internship working with AI. Any type of internship in that capacity would be a really great opportunity for you. You can also mess around with the filter. So in this orange circle you see here, it says get alerts for jobs like this. If you type in marketing internship, for example, and this little circle comes up for get alerts for jobs like this, and you click it, it'll actually email you and let you know next time there's an internship posted that matches your description. This is a little less relevant, now that it's spring now, a little less useful, because right now we want to be applying for internships in the moment instead of waiting for them to be posted. But for the future, when you're applying for internships, absolutely make use of that get alerts for jobs like this button so you can be notified. And as for the filters, you can do a few things here. Number one, you can search by, your major, your school year, your graduation date, even your GPA. But I would recommend mainly focusing on perhaps the industry. You can look in accounting and finance and agriculture if that's something you're interested in. What I would not recommend is over filtering. So if you choose too many of these filters, you may limit what opportunities are presenting themselves to you on this platform. So always choose less filters rather than more in that case. And if you're sitting in this workshop virtually with us and you're looking for internships that are open to US, visa sponsorship or CPT, OPT, they do have filters for that too. But I do recommend, talking with Career Services, talking with the Cranwell International Center so we can properly direct you to a lot more resources in that case. Okay. The next thing I'm going to point out really quickly, it's the People tab. This is something you can make really good use out of. So if you click that People tab on Handshake and you look at the bottom, I'm going to just select Johnson & Johnson Healthcare, and I'm going to see what all that company is about. And when you click and select by Johnson & Johnson Healthcare, this is useful in a couple ways. Number one, it gives you some people to follow and connect with. And number two, you can actually see some posts that the company has made. There's a video here that shows you a day in the life of working at this company. That can really help your research long term as you're applying to these internships here. Okay. So as far as LinkedIn, we do LinkedIn reviews in Pamplin Career Services, and that can be a really great way for you to get noticed and connect with recruiters. But also remember that recruiters commonly ask for referrals for you, or they ask for contacts at the end of the interview to see if you have any references. They also commonly look you up on LinkedIn to see, hey, what have you posted? Who are you connected with? And to connect with you in a capacity outside of regular email, right? So having an updated LinkedIn is a really good thing to do. You can get a professional photo for free from the Smith Career Center by looking on their website for the opportunity. But regardless of where you get a professional photo, go ahead and update that, have a nice professional background, personalize your About Me section. And of course, if you have questions or concerns about that, we can review that as well. I would play around with the add sections because you can have different sections on your LinkedIn for work experience, a separate section for projects, a separate section for leadership and volunteering. Those are different things you can do on your LinkedIn. So on LinkedIn, as you're searching for internships after you've made sure your profile is good to go, I would just make it a goal to connect with as many companies as you can. And that's because you want to sort of treat your LinkedIn almost like an Instagram feed. So on Instagram, your Instagram feed is tailored based on what you're connected to and based on what you like, maybe sometimes based on what you post. On LinkedIn, it's very similar. If you're mostly connected with employers and companies, your LinkedIn feed is all going to be, hey, check out this internship, check out this job opportunity. And that can be a really great way for internships to come to you in that case. You can also not just follow employers and companies, but also follow number one, your department heads. So if you're in real estate, that's the real estate department, finance, that's the finance department because they have unique opportunities for your industry. But also, of course, follow us at Pamplin Career Services because we post a lot of great opportunities as well. My profile is up here, and you are more than welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn and share your internship plans or even schedule a meeting via Navigate. I think we'd be really happy to do that. So you can use LinkedIn to connect with a bunch of employers. And when you're doing that, feel free to send a message if you can. When you first connect with employers on the free version of LinkedIn, you only have a sentence or two to send out to recruiters. But you can just introduce yourself really quickly and say, hey, I found you on LinkedIn. I saw that you're at this company. I look forward to connecting. It can be something as simple as that. But regardless, make sure it's professional, to the point, and it says what you want it to say. Okay. So this can be a really great way to connect with companies, connect with recruiters, and again, just shouting out our internship knowledge data. This is another way to use your internship knowledge data. Find the companies from that internship knowledge data, and then find them on LinkedIn to connect with. Another thing I want to tell you about LinkedIn is that you can use the People tab when you go to that job search function. So yes, when you're searching for jobs, you want to be searching for internships on LinkedIn, and that can give you a whole lot of opportunities. You can throw out a lot of keywords. You can even combine keywords such as, hey, this is this job title plus the company, or this is the industry plus the company. But you can also use the People tab to do more in-depth research. So if you're not using it, I recommend it. You just pop up that People tab, and you can find alumni in this way. So you can go to that where they studied tab over there, find Virginia Tech, and you can find recent alumni and where they currently work. I used Heffernan Insurance Brokers as an example. I just found one school alumni that LinkedIn is aware of that works at this company, and I can connect with her from there. So that can be a really good way for you to connect with alumni. All right. So another thing is career shift. So if you're just joining and you missed my little spiel of career shift, this is your database. So career shift is a whole database and it'll search a ton of different platforms at once at the same time. So if you put in a search function, it'll search Indeed, it'll search the big job board, it'll search a lot of places all at the same time. And in a moment, I'm going to show you what that looks like. So really quickly, to log into career shift, you have to create an account. And normally this would be a paid service, but since you're a VT student, it is free. I would scan this QR code if you can, or look it up online and just title Virginia Tech Career Shift. You want to type in Virginia Tech Career Shift because you have to have the keyword VT that you would get by clicking log into Career Shift, and then you can create your account with your free VT code there. And this is what it looks like. So once you create your career shift account, you're going to see a whole lot of options. The only thing that you'll really need to concern yourself with is, of course, this job tab. So when you click the job tab, it'll give you to this other, search tool. It's going to have some criteria and it's going to have different filters that you can use. The only ones that I would concern myself with is number one, the location, right? If you're looking for Georgia, are you looking for 50 miles of Georgia, 100 miles of Georgia? And of course, if you're looking just for internships, go in that advanced criteria button and click on the job type internship. And that'll help you find a whole lot more opportunities there. And again, you can access this with the keyword VT. Just make sure you Google, career shift Virginia Tech up there. So as an example, I used Career Shift and I typed in the word marketing. And it's giving me internships because I typed in the filter internship. Something that I want to point out about Career Shift, and it is very keyword oriented. So when I typed in the word marketing intern, it gave me a whole bunch of opportunities. I didn't even filter by location, so it's giving me 10,000. That actually doesn't mean there's 1,000, 10,000 marketing internships in the US. That just means there's about 10,000 marketing internships that specifically have the keyword marketing in the title, right? So when you are using Career Shift and you're searching for a marketing internship, don't just put the word marketing, put the word digital, put the word sales, try out a lot of keywords, and you'll find a lot more opportunities. The last thing I want to share with you is the database function of this. So if you're looking at this marketing internship at the top, it says Harris Computer Systems, Atlanta, Georgia, and it shows you the source. So it found that marketing internship at harriscomputer.com, and this marketing internship at the bottom, they found it from homefurniture.com. Always use your best, judgment when you're going to these different job sites, of course, but this can be a really good search tool. And if you do click go to job listing, it'll redirect you to that website that these internships were found. So a really, really great resource there. One other thing you can use Career Shift with is to find company contacts. So besides that job tool that I just mentioned, if you click the companies tab, you can search for companies. I just searched for PwC, and that'll do two things. That'll show you, hey, what people are currently working there, who have worked there in the past, and two, what are some company jobs at PwC as well. All right, so after using these search tools, what else can you do, right? What else is out there for you? Number one, you're going to be applying to a broad range of opportunities. That would be my suggestion, right? And what that means is if you are a marketing major, don't just apply to marketing internships, also apply to sales internships and a whole bunch of other internships that'll give you any kind of transferable skills that can help you in your marketing career. Same thing, for example, BIT. If you're a BIT major, you can certainly look for, business, and you can certainly look for IT internships, but don't limit yourself to just those two keywords. What else is in IT and what else is in business that can be great for you to seek out and apply to? A couple options are project management, operations, sales, IT. Those are all really great experiences that can be really valuable on your resume. And of course, you can seek out other opportunities to add to your resume, such as leadership, projects, and certainly part-time work. And I will reiterate, make it a goal just to connect with more companies. You might use LinkedIn and you might make a post every once in a while, but see if you can't make your LinkedIn feed a little bit more tailored and easier to find internships and jobs, especially when you start searching for full-time jobs in a few years. It can make things a bit easier for you there. If you still aren't hearing back, I want you to think about these things. So quite a few people said they have submitted applications, they haven't heard back. If that's the case and you're submitting a lot of applications, you're not hearing back, it might be time to visit Pamplin Career Services and just get your resume reviewed. A good resume, it's relevant to the position and it's also AI friendly. If you don't know what that means, we can have another, talk about that. And it might not be that your resume is bad at all. It might just mean you're missing some things other students have, such as a project section, such as really good detail in your bullet points. So think about that. Are you getting several interviews, but you're not getting offers? That can be time to adjust your interviewing strategy. And it might not be that you're not doing well in your interview, but what else can you do in your interview? Or are you getting high reviews? So high reviews are recorded conversations where you're just answering questions, you're recorded, the recruiter watches that back. If you're not getting past high reviews onto a live interview and you're getting several high reviews, we can also help you with high review tips, right? So there's just a lot of things you can think of at this point in the semester if you are submitting those applications and you haven't quite got that offer yet. Or are you just sending out applications or can you do more? I would really consider making some cover letters, especially if it's for positions that you are really interested in. And what else are you doing? Are you really selling yourself and putting yourself out there in interviews? Are you connecting with employers? Are you sending follow-up emails after the interview? So it's not all about answering questions correctly in these interviews. It's what else can I do to stand out and put myself at the top? Some other things I'm going to talk about are micro internships. What are those? What are externships that you can apply to? What are some alternative internships, not just in the summer, but think about fall, spring, and certainly what are some projects and how can I find those? Okay. So if you don't have a project section on your resume, this is something that I really recommend having. Recruiters commonly ask about any projects you've done. This is especially for industries that are technical and certainly for roles in project management. Add a project section somewhere on your resume, and recruiters will really look into that and like that. So I'd recommend you have that. And that can be any type of project. It can be the food card project that you've done in Foundations of Business. So if you've done any type of class projects, remember what you did. Maybe you actually did the best out of your class. Maybe you raised a lot of money. That's something a recruiter would care about. But if you're looking for projects or if you want more projects to add, I will introduce you to Forage. So Forage is completely free and you can create a free account online. I put a QR code there for you to quickly scan and save it, bookmark it, create an account. And this is what it looks like when you sign up for it, right? So you're going to create a free account using that button below. And this is what it looks like. So the very first thing I want to address your attention to is that this isn't Virginia Tech owned. This is by really big companies, Capital One, PwC, KPMG, EY. And this is great for a lot of reasons, as I'm sure you're probably imagining. Number one, if you're applying to PwC and you have a PwC Forage project on your resume, that's going to make them really happy. That can be something that's a really good talking point. That can be a good networking opportunity there. And number two, it'll show you, hey, what is it like to work in risk technology at EY, right? So if you don't even want to put this on your resume, I'd recommend just doing it in your own time because it'll give you some really good skills to use and keep and certainly bring up in different interviews. One other thing about this that it is free. It is completely self-paced. So some of these are longer than others. Some are really short. Some are really easy. You can see that some are at the introductory level. Some of them are more advanced. Whatever your skill level is, just go ahead and, click it, fiddle around with it. I'm going to use Forensic and Integrity Services at EY as an example here. And this is what it looks like. It's pretty cool. So when you go into this free project, number one, it'll tell you, what is this about? What are the tasks it's going to give you? How long does it take? It is self-paced, so it's on your own terms, right? Especially with classes and the end of the semester coming up. But you can stand it on your application, and I'm going to click the Task tab, and it brings up, hey, what am I going to be doing in this project? Number one, you can analyze financial documents. You can identify potential risks with those documents, prepare internal briefings. This is a lot of great skills on your resume. Yes, it is a hypothetical project, but the skills you're learning, that's not hypothetical. Those are real skills. And these are examples of good foundations of what your bullet points would look like if you add that to your resume. So look into Forage. You can just Google Forage, create a free account there. This is something else I want to bring up. So I don't know how many of you have heard of Parker Dewey, but I put the QR code there for you to, again, bookmark, look up on your own time, and start exploring these micro internships. So the difference between externships and micro internships is that externships, they're pretty broad in what you can find online. Sometimes externships are just a single day, a few hours. There are in-person internships and there's virtual externships. With externships, it could be just a day, just a few hours, it could be a few days, and you are just learning things. There might be a little project for you to do. Micro internships are project based. You complete a project. In the instance for Parker Dewey, you get paid for these projects. So this can be a really great thing for you to look into. They have a start date. They have a date that these projects are due, and you can filter by, of course, the industry and whatever details that you're wanting to filter by. And I just clicked one. So this is Fellowship Brand Building and Promotion, originated in Orlando, Florida, but it's completely remote. So this micro internship is really cool. You'll design a logo and these promotional materials down below. It says it'll include a flyer. It'll include a graphic in, different capacities in different ways, a press release. So you've got lots of materials to work with. You're going to design something for this company, and then you're going to submit it. And you do get paid for it. This one pays $500 for you to submit that. It is due by May 1st. It has an estimated time of completion about, 25 hours. Shouldn't take you, too long. If you complete it earlier than that, that's fine, as long as it's good quality, and send that out. I would say one thing, micro internships are sort of like internships in that they're competitive. So I would encourage you not just to apply to one, but apply to, as many as you can, as many that stand out to you in order, to get improved and start working on these projects. And you can certainly add these to your resume. And it certainly adds some really good technical skills. Logo designing is a really good technical skill to have for different types of industries. So you can look into that and see if you can't build your resume up there. And there's that QR code. Okay, so I went through it a little fast. I want to quickly, shout out some takeaways here. Number one, there are some summer internships out there still, right? Ideally, fall semester is the bulk of internships and when they're posted, but opportunities that still exist are in, smaller companies, mid-tier companies, local companies. If anyone needs me to share that list of different internships, we will have this recorded and put on our Pamplin Career Services website. And if you want more tips, we can certainly have a career conversation, or you can look at past internship workshops we've done on that Pamplin Career Services website. I would use that data and see if you can't find some really good internships or externships to apply to. Apply to a whole lot of them and start now, either this week or next week. Certainly don't wait too long. You don't want to miss any good deadlines. And certainly reach out and update career services along the way, because we love, following that journey and seeing from start to finish where you started and where you ended up. So feel free to schedule an appointment with us using that QR code. We do a whole bunch of things. That data that I mentioned is in that middle QR code there. And if you did forget to check in, we have the QR code on the bottom right there. Just go ahead and check in, make sure we have you saved. At this point, we can take any questions, or you are more than welcome to head out. Thank you so much.